There we go. So this should work now. Let's see if this works. Where am I? Let's see if this worked. All right, let's test it. Yep, it worked. Good. Changed the schedule because some people were saying they were trying to use the schedule command and it wasn't updated. I forgot to update it last night. Okay, so anyway. Divinity Original Sin 2. Okay? It's a game that people have asked for about half a year. It was about halfway through last year where we did a viewer's choice event, nominations and poll, and it ended up winning. And at that point, I said, listen, I'm still playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, the last viewer's choice you guys asked for, which is an incredibly lengthy RPG. There's no way I could do this now. And then I know for a fact during the busy hardcore gaming season of the year, and then with Yakuza 7 coming out, there's no way I could play this game right now. It's going to be coming, but it's on the back burner. It then sat on the back burner for about 6 months. And there's nothing I can do about that. Finally, we completed the mainstream playthrough of Yakuza 7. Even though I'm still doing post-game stuff, that's very different, okay? And we finished the Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough yesterday. Okay, now, if you did not see the conclusion to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I strongly recommend, if you want story development and explanations, you head over to YouTube, you watch the ending that I put up yesterday. It answered, like, everything. Within, like, 2 hours, the game completely flooded you and bombarded with story to explain everything going on. You could have skipped, I'm not kidding, you could have skipped about 60 hours of the gameplay of this game and just watched the beginning of the game and the end, and it would have explained everything. There was no reason to have 60 hours of filler in the game. That's how bad this game was paced. One of the worst paced, worst written games in a long time. They really fucked it up with bloated filler content. Okay? But by the time we were done yesterday, basically the questions were answered. There were a few more questions presented. This is what always happens with Assassin's Creed. You get open-ended endings because they want to add DLCs and then they want to do fucking sequels, right? So, I'm happy we did what we did. I'm happy we did the optional content to get the true ending of the game, but not incredibly satisfying. Let's just put it that way, all right? So it's finally done. 80-hour playthrough. Finally complete. Now we can start with Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm sure there'll be people who will be very excited about this. I've never played one of these games before. It's something very different. Definitely outside of my comfort zone, for sure. Things that I would normally play. So I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out. I'm interested to see how it performs on PS4 Pro playing on PS5. Because this is basically the PS4 Pro enhanced version of the game. But we're going to play it on PS5. So let's see what happens. I'm very excited to see. Will it run well? How is the combat? You know, is the story great? I don't know. We're going to find out starting on Monday. All right? So that's Monday. And then Monday night, we're going to do some Fall Guys. Third week in a row, we're doing Fall Guys stuff. If you guys feel like the Fall Guys stuff has been played out and you know, we shouldn't do it anymore, then this will be the final Monday. But if you guys like it, you hang out, you support the stream, you want more, we'll do more of it. Okay? So I'm off on Tuesday from streaming, but this will be an interesting week coming up because it's going to be a balance between Divinity Original Sin 2, finishing up Immortals Phoenix Rising. There's no guarantee that it's going to finish this week coming up. Finishing up Super Mario 3D World because I'm likely going to do at least 2 major streams of it. And with 6+ more hours, I'm probably going to end up beating all the other stages and maybe even 100%ing it. We'll see. But I get the feeling we'll either get close to or beat 3D World. Same thing with Bowser's Fury. So this week is going to see a lot of games completing, actually. All right. Now, in addition to that, there's a new game coming out this week that I'm interested in. If you guys are not aware, it is called, I think it's Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins, like Revival or something like that. I forget exactly what the name of the game is. But basically, you guys remember that series of games, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, starring Arthur? Back in the day, this was a quarter muncher arcade game. Incredibly difficult. Side-scrolling platformer where you were a knight and you'd run around throwing, you know, various weapons at demons as you were trying to save a princess who had been kidnapped. Incredibly difficult. And over the years, it was ported to many different consoles. You know, Nintendo consoles, Sega consoles, every console. Recently, I played 2 different Ghosts and Goblins games. One in the Sega Genesis Mini, and then one during the SNES games that were released for free on the Switch. So I've played various different, you know, versions of this game over the years. There is a new one. It's actually brand new. It's not a remake. It's not a remaster. It's a brand new one coming out this, I think, Thursday? I think it's the 25th of February. And I'm interested in it. This sounds interesting to me. It sounds like it's going to be incredibly difficult. And the game even says as much. It says, this is going to be very difficult. Think of it like this way. It's Dark Souls levels of difficult, but it's a side-scroller action game rather than a 3D game. It's going to be that tough. Okay? So, I'm actually excited to feel. Now, people are like, you're not finishing that. You may be right. I may not finish it. I may never finish the game. It may be a game that beats my ass so tough, so hard, I never complete it. Very well, you may be right. We'll see, but it's definitely something completely different that I would like to do and add to the mix of games that we're doing right now. Okay? So, yes, that is something we're doing this coming week. All right? Outside of that, like I said, Divinity Original Sin 2 added to the mix. Oh, excuse me. Continuing out with Super Mario 3D World, hopefully finishing it. Continuing on with Immortals Phoenix Rising, hopefully finishing it. This will be an interesting week. Okay? Good stuff this coming week. Now, I don't know what else we'll be doing in the near future because I don't really know what else is going to be coming out in March. It doesn't look like much. So there may be opportunity to do some downtime stuff. In particular, you guys are currently nominating games for an upcoming Viewer's Choice playthrough. I urge you to keep doing so. Alright? The more games you guys nominate, the better the Viewer's Choice event will be. Alright? So please continue to nominate games. Why? Wait a minute. I swear I've been talking longer than 7 minutes. But it says I've only been talking 7 minutes on the recorded pre-stream? That doesn't sound right to me. I think the pre-stream somehow stopped recording and started recording again. How did it manage to do that? Hold on a second. This doesn't make any sense to me. Hold on. I gotta check this. What the fuck? Yeah, what the hell? Pre-stream glitched out. How did this happen? What the hell? It recorded... Yeah, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense. So... How did it... I have no idea. Somehow... And by the way, this will not affect the whole Penny Points wagering, don't worry. But somehow, the pre-stream recorded for 10 minutes... stopped recording and started recording again on its own. I have not touched a keyboard at all that it would do that. And I certainly didn't click on stop and start recording. So I have no idea why pre-stream has been split into multiple parts. It wasn't me. What the hell? I have no clue. I'm like scratching my head right now, completely stumped as to how this happened. Anyway, I guess... it'll be a little annoying for those watching on YouTube. It's going to be two parts. One part will be 10 minutes, and one part will be over an hour for the pre-stream, which is really stupid. I don't know how this happened. This is very dumb. Anyway, whatever. I didn't do it. Who cares? So let's continue. So yes, please continue to nominate games for the upcoming Viewer's Choice event. That nominations will continue to be open until the end of the month. You can do so by typing ! Viewer's Choice into the stream chat, or... every 20 minutes or so, the link will pop up by itself, and you can nominate games via that link. Please do so. The more nominations, the better. The games that are the most nominated, meaning more than one person nominated them, will then be tallied up and put into a poll, and that poll will then be voted on, and that will determine a new playthrough for March, because, quite frankly, there's not a lot going on in the realm of games in March. So we definitely need a Viewer's Choice playthrough for March, and this will be ample opportunity to get one started, so please nominate games, all right? Now, in addition, please post up questions for the upcoming Q&A show, Ask the King. This is my bi-monthly Q&A show that I run. It's going to be the first week of March, and the more questions I get, the better. All right? If you post up questions ahead of time, you have an increased chance of having them answered on the show, because I review every single question that's posted up ahead of time. As opposed to if you just post up on my Twitter or here in the chat on the day of, probably a way decreased chance of me answering your question. Okay? So, please post up your questions. How do you do so? You can type ! Ask the King into the stream chat. Or, again, every 20 minutes or so, a link will pop up by which you can, you can nominate that stuff. Okay, excuse me, you can post up your questions. Okay? All right, outside of that, honestly, not much else to really talk about on the pre-stream today before we get into our other segments. I do have one major news story to talk about today. So we will get to that in a moment. But before that, it's time for your favorite segment of the stream, Gratuitous Plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an independent content creator. I do not have any sponsorships with any company, and I don't advertise any products on my stream. I don't have any exclusive partnerships with any website or business to stream for them only and get paid a flat rate because I do so, like many of the other big streamers. I don't answer to anyone. I don't have to worry about what I say or do on a stream costing me a sponsorship and getting dropped from a sponsor. I don't have to worry about a non-disclosure agreement that I've signed causing me to not be able to be honest about a game that I'm playing. When you watch my gameplay streams, you can be sure that you're getting honest reaction style feedback about that game based directly on what I feel playing that game live. And I pride myself on that. I'm someone who has been doing this for over 12 years, and I still have remained independent. I don't have to answer to anyone, and I don't have to pull punches, and I don't have to kiss anyone's ass in order to do what I do for a living. I'm happy about that, and you guys tell me on a daily basis that that has meaning to you, and that's why you come and you watch my stuff. Thank you for that. But understand the reason that I'm allowed to do this for a living, the reason that I have my dream job is because of you. Because you guys crowd fund my streams. If it weren't for you guys coming out, hanging out with me, and supporting the streams, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living. All right? So I'm very appreciative of the fact that you guys allow me to do what I love. You know, a lot of people do not get to do that and cannot say that. I'm so happy to come to stream every day and hang out and chill with you guys and have a good time. That's what it's all about. And I'm very happy to hang out with you guys. All right? So, thank you for providing me with the means to have a job that I love. All right? That being said, I want you to understand something before I even start talking about ways that you can support the stream. It's not mandatory that you support anything. All right? It's not expected that you contribute to a stream. I just want to hang out with you guys and have a good time. You know, I used to make YouTube videos for 2.5 years, never monetized a single piece of gameplay during that period of time. It wasn't until I lost my job that I started to have to try to monetize all of my videos on YouTube and make a living doing it because I had nothing else to fall back on. And I'm so appreciative of those who come out and chill with me. It's not about monetary contributions. It never has been. The fact that I get to have a great time on stream with you guys every day, and then the fact that this is also my job is like the icing on the cake for me. Okay? So please understand that this is the best job I've ever had. And, you know, that's the way that I approach it. I feel that if I'm putting out an entertaining stream for you guys and you guys are having a good time, then contributions are going to come naturally as a part of that. It goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So, do not feel pressured and don't feel bad. Sometimes people come out here and they're like, Phil, I can only cheer this amount. I can only tip this amount. I'm really sorry. I say, don't ever say that. That's ridiculous. Don't ever feel bad because you can't contribute or you can't contribute more than you're doing. That is the opposite of the mentality that I want people to have when they're on here. Okay? It's all about having a good time first. Now, of course, that being said, if you can contribute to the streams, by all means, please do. That's how I make my living. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I buy games. You know, the new game coming up this week I'm going to be buying. My day off this coming week, I got groceries to buy, pet supplies to buy. Jasper actually is just about to run out of his dry cat food, so we're going to have to get him some more of that this week. You know, all those things are paid for by your tips and your contributions over time. So please contribute to the streams if you can, but it's not mandatory. Don't feel pressured if you can't. Fair enough? All right, now, how can you contribute? You can cheer with bits. You can subscribe to the channel. You can gift a subscription to the channel. You can tip me. All these are great ways to contribute, all right? We have goals in effect as a way of saying thank you. First of all, any contribution that I get, I'm going to give a shout out on the stream. As long as you're in line with the stream rules, you're not trying to derail, you're not trying to insult me or say something, you know, that's purposely trying to piss me off, I'm going to give you a shout out. I go out of my way to try to give shout outs to every single person on the stream because I am grateful that you guys allow me to do what I love for a living, and I want to show you my thanks, okay? That's a major part of the streams. Now, today I'm playing Call of Duty. It can be a little bit tougher to do the shout outs between the matches, but I still actively try to do my best to give everyone a shout out when I can, as soon as I can. All right? Now, we have tips goals in effect. What that means is if we raise a certain amount of tips on a stream, I'll do some things as a way of a reward. If we raise $50 of tips, I'll put on the Gunner glasses. If we raise $100 of tips, you guys will get to choose a vest for me to wear today. Today, all vests are eligible, including beige, blue, red, platinum, and camo, which is great. If we somehow, by some crazy freak chance, happen to double the tips goal today, which I do not foresee happening, but if it just happens to happen, I will wear 2 vests at once. What you guys will get to do is pick a second vest for me to wear during today's stream, okay? So all that's possible today, all right? Now, the last couple of days, I have not hit the tips goal. I take that back. Yesterday, I didn't hit the tips goal. We did hit a tips goal on Thursday, but yesterday, I didn't hit a tips goal at all, and sadly, behind the scenes, I had fake tips that were basically negatively affecting my PayPal account. It's bullshit. So today, especially because of the fun stuff we're doing today, we're going to have a lot of excellent action and suspense with the Penny Points wagering during the Call of Duty stuff. I'm actively going to try to entertain you guys with some of the stuff that we do with that. Tonight, Bowser's Fury. I would appreciate it if you guys could contribute today. And if, in particular, if you want to tip me to hit this tips goal, that would help me a lot, okay? So thank you in advance for any contributions. And please, in particular, if you can tip me today, please do. Let's get those tips goals going. Let's see if we can hit any of them, all right? Fair enough. Now, if you are a regular stream attendee and you are someone who's contributing and or thinking of contributing, I have some advice for you to try to help you out because I'm looking out for you. The first piece of advice I have, do not use a name here on Twitch that's the same as your real life name or a name that you use on other websites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. You need to diversify your online presence because sadly there's some people out there that are no-lifers. They come after people and harass them on the internet for literally no good reason. They'll just latch on to you and start harassing you no matter where you go. So if you're using the same information, they'll follow you around the internet just to make your life a living hell. The last thing you want is that happening. So I strongly recommend, especially if you're going to be someone on here who's going to be a regular, don't let people harass you elsewhere. Diversify your identity on the internet for that purpose, okay? Now, in addition, I strongly recommend you turn off open direct messages on Twitch. Open direct messages on Twitch are just asking for trouble. People constantly use them for harassment, trolling purposes. I have mine turned off so that only people who are on my friends list can actually message me here on Twitch. It's worked wonders. I strongly recommend you do the same exact thing to avoid trolling, all right? Now, if you're considering tipping me today, thank you in advance. Like I said, I really appreciate the contributions. The tipping helps a lot. We get great reward goals as a result of it. But I urge you to create a verified PayPal account if you are going to tip me to avoid fraud. Over the last 6 months, I have had numerous times when people have hit me with fake tips, with stolen credit cards, where then they got charged back. I lost the money after the fact. Plus, my PayPal account got hit with fees, got hit with all kinds of penalties for this, even though it makes no sense. I certainly didn't choose to want a tip with a stolen credit card, but that's not how PayPal sees it. They just think, oh, there's fraud. Well, put that burden on the streamer rather than on the person committing the crime, which is really stupid. Okay? Now, the reason I'm asking you to verify your PayPal account is if you have a verified PayPal account, that means that you went the extra mile to link your real identity to it and verify you're a real person, meaning you can't use a stolen credit card, because if you do, you'll go to jail. All right? It gives me added protections and added security, meaning I know I could trust your tip if it's verified. No one's going to try to commit fraud if their real life identity is attached to it, and then they could actually get in legal trouble for it. You see what I'm saying? In the past month, a tremendous amount of stream supporters have verified their accounts, and you know, it's been amazing. You know, it's great. The streams have become better because of it. I don't have to sit here and verify every tip to see if it's real, and I really appreciate that. So how do you verify your account? You basically got to link your identity, meaning your bank account information or your other ID information. It's different for people in different countries, I believe, but apparently it's not so hard to do, and I thank everyone who has done it in advance. The thing is, when you verify your PayPal account, it's free to do, and it's going to help you in the long run anyway, because then PayPal will give you added protections for buying and selling on the internet. If someone tries to scam you with something you're buying on the internet, PayPal's got your back if you have a verified PayPal account. So it makes sense to do it anyway. It absolutely helps you out in the long term. So please consider doing it. And thanks to those who have supported the streams by doing it. It's very, very helpful. Alrighty then. And then you got an idiot like Stranded Ostrich saying, why would people dox themselves? You're not doxing yourself, you fucking idiot. You don't, that information doesn't go public, stupid. Do you really think if PayPal put all your information on the internet that they wouldn't get sued into oblivion? I mean, boy, that's dumb. That's just one of the dumbest things you could say. All right. Let us now get to the news. Let's go right into the news. So, there's really not much to talk about in regards to Blizzard. Blizzard had their BlizzCon event yesterday, and there was a very small announcements, in my opinion. Diablo 2 is finally getting a remake. Wow, a game from the 1990s. Very exciting. Personally, I like Diablo 2. I played it back in the day. I got hooked on it. I played the shit out of it on my old PC in the 90s. But I don't know how that translates to the modern era. It's more than likely a game that would be very fun to play because you get addicted to the looter style aspect of it. But I can't imagine people enjoying watching it. If anything, that could be like something like a chill stream for me where once a week we just grind in Diablo and I talk with you guys, because there's nothing riveting about that. Trust me. There's going to be a new Diablo, Diablo 4. Wow. Like, wow, we're really shocked that a franchise that made a lot of money is going to have a new game. Very exciting. No information about it, but you know, oh, it's coming out. Overwatch 2 is being made, and they showed off 4 slightly tweaked character models for characters from the original game that aren't impressive at all because they look almost exactly the same as the original characters. Very minor tweaks. And then they said, oh, it's not coming out this year. Okay. It's like, what? Geez, what a great event this was, right? Essentially, the entire day, they just sat there giving non-announcement after non-announcement. Oh, there's a new StarCraft. Okay. Any information? When's it coming out? No. Oh, okay. So, basically, zero information besides we're working on new games in our existing franchises. That's it. That's not too riveting to me. So, it pretty much was another non-event from Blizzard. Are we surprised that Blizzard once again has not impressed? Not really. But really, the big news that came out of BlizzCon had nothing to do with Blizzard or its games. The big news that came out of BlizzCon was Metallica doing a live performance. First of all, definitely the customer base they're appealing to. Everyone who plays these Blizzard games is definitely into Metallica. Let me tell you. Everyone who plays Blizzard games is from the 1980s like me. We grew up listening to, you know, the rock metal. And man, when Metallica picks up the guitar and they just start riffing, oh, I just got to open up StarCraft again. Let me tell you guys. Obviously, I am being silly. I'm being silly. All right. But the point that I'm making here is Metallica really doesn't have much to do with video games. Pretty much they have nothing to do with video games at all. So let's actually stream them at a gaming event. All right, fine. Let's be honest here. Musical performances these days don't really have much to do with anything. At the Super Bowl, they fucking have people there who you never even heard of, or you're like, what the fuck does that have to do with football? Nothing. But anyway, Metallica starts performing, and it starts being live streamed on the internet. Twitch.tv, the website that I'm streaming on right now, decides this is too much of a DMCA copyright risk to stream live Metallica music. They mute the stream and start playing royalty-free music over the stream. This was inadvertently one of the most hilarious things I have ever seen. They're rocking out with their guitars. All of a sudden it goes silent, and then you hear like these old men on stage trying to rock out, and you see them like bobbing their heads hard, they're going hardcore into it. But instead you hear it is the funniest fucking thing. If you didn't see this yet, you've got to check it out. It's fucking so funny. Now, first of all, we all have to kind of laugh at the situation because Metallica was the band in the early 2000s, 20 years ago. They were the band that started the whole issue with copyright on the internet. Because back then, for those who weren't around back then, there was a little program called Napster. It was a free-to-download program where everyone was illegally sharing their music on the internet. They would buy an album, they would rip the album to their PC for personal use and say, fuck it, and upload all the songs to Napster. You would then be able to, for free, get any music you wanted off of Napster. You literally never had to buy a music album because for about 2 years, everything was free on the internet. Every song you wanted was free. Okay? Now, Metallica got so upset by this. They were so worried. Keep in mind, Metallica, all right? Multi-platinum artist, numerous awards, one of the biggest rock bands at that time, making insane money hand over fist, filthy rich millionaire motherfuckers. We're so upset that Napster was doing this, that they could possibly lose some money because people are sharing their music for free on the internet, that they rallied with the music industry and other artists and formed a legal coalition to go after Napster and other file sharing services and sued them into oblivion in court, saying this is completely illegal, this is money we should be making, and we're not making the money now because you are sharing our music illegally over the internet. At the time, it was actually a legal gray area. But because it went to litigation, it was deemed illegal. That Napster, that LimeWire, that Kazaa, among other companies who were all doing this file sharing, that they couldn't do it anymore. Basically, they were saying, it's all illegal now. It wasn't before. It was a gray area. No one knew what was legal, what wasn't. But then in court, they said, nah, this is illegal. So I compare this to the modern era. In the modern era right now, we've got people who play video games on the internet, right? We got people who play music on the internet, and a lot of it just seems to be allowed. And it's a legal gray area. Is it really legal or not? No one really knows. No one's taking it to court. Well, Metallica were the people who took it to court 20 years ago for music. I wonder who is it going to be who's going to take it to court in the modern day for video game content. You got to wonder. I get the feeling it's inevitable. One day it's going to happen. Okay? Anyway, that being said, so isn't it ironic that this is the exact band who 20 years ago were so angry about copyright law and their music being stolen on the internet that they're the ones who deemed that sharing a music on the internet was illegal. 20 years later, they're doing a live performance on the internet, and their own performance gets muted and dubbed over with royalty-free music because for fear that people will get sued for playing their own music over the internet. That is, I think, the definition of irony. I think so. Now, the other thing about this, and I'm sorry, listen, you guys know I'm outspoken. You guys know I'm going to tell you like it is. I know I'm streaming on twitch.tv right now. I'm well aware of that. And by the way, I've said it many times, I love being here. I think this is the best place to stream. This is the place where I've built a following. I've built a community. I've built my business. I want to stay here indefinitely as long as I can. All right? But I'm going to call out bullshit when I see it. All right? The fact that Twitch muted this stream and dubbed the music over royalty-free music is the most pussy fucking move I have ever seen in the last decade when it comes to DMCA on the internet. That is the biggest, most pussy, cowardly, ridiculously lack of balls move I've ever seen in my fucking life. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, DMCA law was drafted a long time ago. This is not a law that was made 2 years ago, 5 years ago, not even 10 years ago. DMCA law was created years before there was live streaming on the internet, right? That means that everything that currently is on the internet technically doesn't really apply to DMCA law. When those laws were created, no one understood what would happen in the future. So right now, everything that gets determined with DMCA is actually wrong and outdated. What has to happen is that someone has to take this shit to court so that we can have arguments on either side, whether it's for the music industry, the movie industry, the game industry, whoever it is, versus the streaming services. We need to figure out what is legal and what is not, and we need to actually have criteria to know what we can do. We can't pussyfoot around this situation anymore. We can't just assume everything is bad and then blanket stop everything. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. It's unprofessional. And it needs to stop. Because here's the truth that no one wants to say, because of course, if this ever came to light, there'd be a lot of problems. Every single time that YouTube or Twitch or any big company takes a piece of content off of their platform claiming DMCA, if they have not legally confirmed that that claim is real, they have violated DMCA law. Because the way DMCA law works is that when one of these companies receives a takedown request, okay, they're supposed to comply with it. But if they don't use the due diligence to actually confirm that the person involved actually broke the law, they have violated DMCA law. Okay? So here's the thing. If we really got to the thick of it, and we really had a legal analyst come in here, who do you think violates DMCA law more on a daily basis? People who are streaming content on the internet, or these big companies that have instituted giant blanket robots and algorithms like the Content ID match system on YouTube, or this new, whatever it's called, takedown system here on Twitch that erroneously flag videos and take them down hundreds a minute, right? I couldn't tell you how many times I've had issues with people impersonating someone, lying about their identity, and trying to get my content taken down off of YouTube or Twitch. How many times last year did my streams get taken down illegally with someone who was impersonating a company? And Twitch did zero to actually verify that that person was real. Every single time that they take down anyone's content without verifying the identity is illegal. They have broken DMCA law because they did something on behalf of a law without verifying wrongdoing. You can't do that. That's illegal. You can't throw around a law and say, I'm doing something on behalf of a law without verifying that someone did something to violate that law. Then you yourself have violated that law. So this is very bad. All right? The fact that Twitch is live streaming a gaming event, there happens to be a concert at said event. Obviously, they would not be broadcasting this concert if the people broadcasting the concert were okay with this going out on the internet, and they just decide to mute it anyway. Like, what the fuck? I can't imagine what was going through the minds of the people who made that fucking decision. That had to be the most lame-brained, uneducated, stupid decision in recent memory when it comes to any of these DMCA issues. Like, of course Metallica and their label isn't going to sue you for the live performance broadcast. Of course there's permission here, or else they wouldn't be fucking doing it over a live stream that they're aware of. Like, what are you thinking? It's pathetic. It really is. That all these companies now are so shockingly afraid of getting a legit DMCA takedown. They're so afraid of legal ramifications of broadcasting something that now they're just taking everything down in a blanket movement. And in reality, they're violating the law worse than anyone else who's actually broadcasting copywritten materials. They are. They're doing a worse violation. The thing is, YouTube, Twitch, etc., they are the ones that everyone relies on to broadcast their stuff. So, for example, let's say that you're PewDiePie. You're a multi-millionaire, billionaire, however rich the guy is. And all of a sudden on YouTube, all his videos start getting flagged for content ID takedowns because this is all copywritten material. All right? Do you really think PewDiePie is going to sue YouTube and say, oh, you violated DMCA law when you did this to me, so I want all this restored, I'm suing you? Of course he's not going to do that. Why? Because as they would say, that's biting the hand that feeds you. PewDiePie relies on having a distribution network for his content to make money. He needs YouTube as much as YouTube needs him. So he's going to allow them to do those things, even though they're illegal, and they annoy him and they cost him money, because he still needs to use that avenue to relay his content, right? Streamers like me. Sure, I'm sure we could get a 1,000 streamers who've all been hit with false DMCA claims, and we could class action sue Twitch. But, what on earth is that actually going to solve? Would Twitch possibly stop doing these erroneous things? Maybe. But that's biting the hand that feeds you. And let me tell you, these companies, even though they may pretend like, oh, we're doing the right thing, chances are when you get on their shit list, right? You get on their shit list, you're going to be in trouble. They're not going to want you on their platform anymore. And that means they're going to look for any means necessary to get rid of you, whether legit or not. That's how these companies operate. I mean, let's not pussyfoot around the issue here, all right? What in the holy hell happened with Dr. Disrespect last year? As much as I razz on the guy and I make fun of him for dressing up as a character and stuff like that, let's be fair here, all right? What actually happened with Dr. Disrespect? We still don't know, right? It was never disclosed what happened with this guy that he got banned from Twitch. He was one of the biggest Twitch streamers, and he was kicked off the platform for seemingly no legit reason, right? Like, we looked into it, and everyone tried to figure this out. No one could figure out what actually happened to the guy. He's apparently, if you can believe him, which I don't know if you can or not, we still don't know why he was banned from Twitch. He did some heinous things over the years, but when he got banned, there was no public explanation for what happened. So, my point I'm making here is, these companies, at any time, will find a way to get rid of you if they don't like you. And if you try to speak up against them in any legal capacity, like if you say, I'm going to sue them because they've been really hurting my business, these false DMCA takedowns, they're not doing their due diligence, they're not verifying these people who are taking stuff down are real, and I feel that this is messed up, so I'm going to sue them to stop it. Great, say goodbye. Because they're going to find a reason to get rid of you regardless, and legally, they likely don't have to verify it. Right? I mean, I'm just being honest here. And by the way, this is not anything that's not public knowledge. This is just people don't like to talk about it because they're afraid. They're afraid if they talk about this publicly that, like, YouTube or Twitch is going to come down on them hard. No, that's not going to happen. If you just speak truthfully to an issue, you're going to be fine. It's when you're unfair that you're going to actually be treated in a negative light, right? And you guys know, I'm a guy who gives a fair take on everything. I'm not going to be hating on one thing or another thing for various reasons, all right? The thing is, listen, at any moment, any of these sites could kick you off for any good reason. Right now, YouTube could say, I just don't like Phil, and just ban me. Right now, Twitch could say, oh, fuck Phil, we don't like him anymore, and turn the switch off. They could just do that, But I can't help that, I can't help that. I understand that. Thank God that you guys support me no matter where I go. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to talk about these kind of issues, all right? The fact that Twitch muted that stream is insanely ridiculous. Like, over the top crazy. That is preposterously bad that they were so afraid of DMCA litigation that they muted a fucking live concert where obviously permission was given to broadcast that music. That's just like, what is happening? You know? You gotta wonder, too. You have to wonder, was this a actual choice that was made internally by Twitch? Was there some bigwig manager sitting there and said, oh, I'm so afraid, all right, dub it? Or was this an algorithm? Was there some automatically running algorithm that caught the music and said, that's Metallica music, and then by default, the robot did that? Right? We don't know. We actually don't know what happened. So I guess we'll see. You know, I'm sure this story will probably develop further because it's massive news. Everyone today is talking about this. Like, how could they do this? How stupid was that? What kind of a streaming service is this? Right? I mean, what's the future of Twitch? Is everything just going to get auto-muted? That's the thing. I think that's what everyone's worried about. We understand that in certain cases, this is warranted. Obviously, this was if ever you were going to say, okay, this isn't needed, the live streamed concert of a band that obviously knew their shit was being live streamed worldwide and obviously isn't going to sue you was probably the one thing that you shouldn't do that to. Yet they still did it. So I just I don't get it, and it's shocking to me that this happened. This is the big news right now. Of course, it opens a can of worms, right? What's to stop every single piece of content from being muted on Twitch besides just me talking? Besides just a person talking like this, what's to stop someone from just claiming anything if it's such a bad system that this could happen, right? Psh. Pretty unreal. I mean, honestly, guys, when I play Call of Duty, that's why there's no music. You guys notice when I play Black Ops Cold War, there's no music, right? There's a good reason for that. I like the music. Remember I played the beta? I actually really like the soundtrack. But the beta videos all got claimed on YouTube via Content ID. So I have to turn off the music on Call of Duty for fear that my stream will be muted and my videos will be claimed on YouTube. That's why it's off. This is a huge thing. Pretty stupid. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on that subject. We'll look for further developments, obviously, here together and see if there's anything further to talk about it. But, holy crap. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let us now get the shout-outs. All right? For you who have contributed, let's answer your questions. So, Golden Colts cheered overnight. Interesting question, by the way, because this one actually I have something to say about. He cheered overnight. He said the following. Have you ever had a fat sandwich? They're standby in the culture of Rutgers University in New Jersey. It's like an entire deluxe cheeseburger meal with the fries or chicken fingers with fries, except the whole meal is placed inside of a big hoagie bun. So for those who don't know, Rutgers is a university, educational, place in New Jersey, a state here in the United States on the East Coast. And there is a cultural phenomenon there called the food trucks. There is a lot where a bunch of actual restaurants on wheels, big trucks with actual kitchens inside of them, drive up on a regular basis and make fresh food at night. And the students usually will walk by there. A lot of the times they're inebriated, and they'll buy food to kind of negate their inebriation. It's very popular. It's made tons of money. Now, obviously, I don't know what's happened to these in the COVID era. Okay. But they used to be very, very popular back in the day. In fact, I myself have partaken in the food trucks. One time I was in New Jersey for a fighting game tournament, and I was hanging out with Jet Fee, Justin Wong, and other people, other gamers. We were all kind of hanging out in New Jersey, and Jet Fee actually told us, hey, we should go over to the food trucks in Rutgers and get some food. If you never had them, it's pretty good stuff. I was like, okay, let's do it. So we went over there, and we checked it out. And I actually got not the burger one, but I actually got the chicken fingers one. So it was breaded chicken with French fries, lettuce, tomato, and other condiments. I couldn't tell you what because I don't remember. And I definitely remember melted cheese. And they put all of that on a hoagie bun, a giant crusty hoagie bun. So it was giant, warm, full of, ingredients. You're right. It was basically like having a whole fast food meal, fresh made and crunched inside of a hoagie bun. And I can tell you this, it was good. I liked it. I definitely thought that it was really good. So, definitely enjoyed it. And I never went back, although I was always urged by people who lived in New Jersey to go back and check it out, because they said it's not just that. They have other things that they do, too. There's great Mexican food there. Like, the food trucks have a good variety of different cultural foods that you could get for a very decent price, and they're really high quality. So, you know, maybe one day, who knows, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Simply because COVID. I don't even know if those food trucks exist. They might have gone out of business. Seriously, who knows? All right, Captain Caveman resubscribed for 36 months to 3 years. Thank you for 3 years of support, Captain Caveman. And he says, you see the new Mortal Kombat trailer? I like how Jax gets his arms crushed. Okay. So, yeah, I saw that. And it's interesting that that's the origin of how he got his arms crushed. Because I don't think that's actually in Mortal Kombat lore, how he actually got it crushed as canon in the games. But, again, it looks like the Mortal Kombat movie's trying to make things realistic. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I saw it. Thank you for the resub and 3 years of support, Captain Caveman. Gangsta Chicken is our first tipper of the day with a $2 tip. It said, looking forward to Divinity, fam. Have a good stream. Thank you, Gangsta Chicken, for the... oh, my God. Excuse me. For the first tip of the day. Much appreciated. Okay. Random Game Roulette did a 100-bit cheer. And let's go ahead and get them up on the leaderboard for the first cheer of the day. Shit. And they say the following. They say, Napster really did change everything. Take a look at Spotify and Apple Music now. Everything for $10 a month and streamed, no more $25 CDs. Absolutely correct. When Napster came out, and of course then all the copycats, like I said, there was, oh my God, there were so many. There was like 4 or 5 of them. Like I said, I used to use Kazaa a lot, but I know there were other ones as well. Similar to Napster. LimeWire. Remember LimeWire? Those kind of things. But anyway, once music went digital, and once music hit the internet and anyone could download anything they want, basically the music industry was forced to change. Up until then, in the 90s, it was always you have to go to the store and buy a $20 to $25 music CD to get like 10 songs. Yes, 10 songs for that price. More than $2 a song back then. And of course, then that music was on the CD. You had to carry that CD around with you everywhere. Until finally, all of a sudden, the iPods and the digital music MP3 players became popular, and everyone wanted to rip their music digitally to their computers, which they figured out how to do. And then the floodgates opened. So you're right. When Napster came out and started distributing this music over the internet and proved that it could happen, all these music companies, publishers, had to change suit on how they distributed their music. And so they did. They started doing digital distributions of their own, and here we are today. You got Spotify, you got Apple Music, you've got Pandora, you've got what's the other one? There's like 5 different ones, 6 different big ones, right? But you're right, that really did change 20 years ago. That's what changed everything. Diocletian gifted a bunch of subs to the channel. First, he gifted a sub to the Dryer Newt, then one to Ross Taku, and then one to Nyer Socks. Congratulations to all of you guys, and thank you, Diocletian, for the channel support. So Noxina2, very, very critical of me this morning. First cheered and said, what law are platforms like YouTube and Twitch breaking by issuing DMCA takedown, something they're legally required to do? DMCA law. Because you cannot invoke a law and do something in the name of a law without actually confirming that, number 1, the law was violated, and number 2, that the request is valid. Or else that's illegal. You can't, for example, right now, I can't just grab someone on the street, toss them down face first into the fucking sidewalk and say, citizens arrest. I would go to jail for that. That's assault. Now, if someone is walking down the street and is assaulting someone else, and it's documented this is happening, it's public, this guy's beating the shit out of someone in the street, and I grab the guy and I throw him down to the sidewalk and I say, citizens arrest, then I'm protected. That guy was hurting someone, and I stopped them from hurting someone, and now I'm doing an arrest myself. Okay? Do you see the point I'm making? You can't just do whatever the fuck you want with no repercussions and say, oh, I did it in the name of a law. No, you can't do that. You actually have to do due diligence and verify that a law is being broken and you have the legal right to do what you're doing. If Twitch or YouTube takes down a video or stream without verifying there's actually a violation of law, they have broken that law themselves. Sorry. That's just the case. But again, no one wants to sue them because that's biting the hand that feeds you. If you have a class action lawsuit against one of these companies saying they have on a daily basis violated DMCA law thousands of times and this needs to stop, you know, what's to stop those companies from then coming down on you for doing that? You see? Noxina2 Cheers says, in all likelihood, Blizzard was given permission to broadcast the Metallica performance, but Twitch wasn't, and it's very likely that Metallica themselves don't own the rights to their own music. The record label does, so music licenses aren't a blanket thing. Phil? Yes, correct. That doesn't prove anything to my points at all. All you're doing is saying, this is why Twitch was afraid and why they muted the stream. That doesn't actually give them justification to do so. Sorry. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support so far this week. Let us now do shout-outs for those who have contributed to Forgive the Week so far. First of all, those who cheered. Thank you to Awesomeness Kaboom, who's in 10th place. Thank you to Cyber Shadow, who's in 9th. Local Nomad is in 8th. We have a tie for 6th between Ladies Man and Timbo Slice. In 5th place, we've got Conversalist. 4th place is Ninstar Room. 3rd place is Roosh. 2nd place, Rob on Wheels. And 1st place, The Paradox 988. Also, thank you to those who've gifted subscriptions to the channel so far this week, including Ratty Bag, Sir Spartan King, Jackalese, and Super Scuba. They each gifted a single sub. We've also got Kate and Berg Beckleman, who each gifted 2 subscriptions each to the channel. And then we've got Diocletian, who gifted 5 subscriptions to the channel. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for your support today, or this week, I should say. Appreciate that. All right. Does anyone else have anything to talk about? Any other questions, any other concerns, anything else you'd like to discuss? As you know, before we get started with gameplay, I always take a break to use the restroom. You guys get a chance to grab a drink or a snack or do whatever you'd like to do. And then we're going to jump into Call of Duty here today. Okay? Oh, really? Expand Dong says Dinosaur Planet by Rare, the N64 game prototype that I guess eventually was turned into Star Fox 64, was dumped today or something like that? Huh. Okay. Well, I don't necessarily know if that's news. A lot of stuff gets dumped on the internet these days. Old stuff. I have to blow my nose. It's bothering me. What's my favorite fish to eat? Think about this. I like cod. Like, if you get, like, a good fish and chips, cod is pretty good. I do like salmon. I haven't had salmon that much because it's actually pretty expensive. But I do enjoy salmon if it's prepared well. And I also like halibut. Those are really the big 3 fish that I've had in my life. I don't think I've had much else outside of those. So, you know, I've had shellfish, but that's different from regular fish. I think you were asking me about real fish. So. Oh, you know what? I've also had tilapia. Tilapia is pretty good, too. Ribley Atomic Charity says, yes, is Turok boring? I guess it depends on what you're talking about. I played Turok for the N64 back in the day, and that game was tough as shit. Like, there was really difficult enemies in that game. And very scarce ammo. So, I remember playing it and never beating it because it always whooped my ass. I had to use cheat codes and stuff to get through the game. I never played another Turok game outside of that. So, I can't really answer that. Oh, people are being very... Okay, I'm an idiot. People are like, you never had tuna? You're right. Of course I've had tuna. I mean, that's a really... what I'm thinking is fish that I sit there at a dinner and I eat. Like, I wouldn't sit there and eat a giant chunk of tuna. You know what I mean? Like, tuna you would have in other things, like tuna salad, a tuna casserole. I don't think I've ever just sat there and said, oh, I want a big tuna fillet for dinner. You know what I mean? So, yes, tuna I do enjoy. By the way, Jasper loves tuna as well. I'm not surprised. Jasper is a fish-eating cat. If you presented Jasper with chicken, beef, and fish, he would eat the fish 10 times out of 10. He's a fish lover. I know tuna steaks exist, but that's nothing I've ever had. So. What's for dinner tonight? I believe my wife is making chicken and dumplings, which is basically she has biscuits that she bakes in the oven, and then you put it into like a liquid mixture, some kind of a soup, but also you put chicken pieces in there. You eat it kind of like a soup almost. I don't know, because I don't know if she's ever done this particular recipe before. She's done it before, but we're using different ingredients this time, so I don't know how it's going to come out. Okay. Timbo's very angry with me. He says I'm delaying pre-stream. I'm not. I do this every day. I do this every single day like this. What are you talking about? This is not any different from my normal pre-stream. What was my game of the year 2021 so far? That would be a really silly question. I don't think there's been any new games, right? If you think about it, the games that I've played, have there been any big new releases? I mean, Hitman 3, and it wasn't so great. Nothing else has been new. 3D World and Mario 3D World's a remake. So, nothing. Nothing. Okay. Bowser's Fury is new. Yeah, but it's not a game. It's a standalone expansion mode, but it's not a game in itself. Immortals is not 2021. It's a 2020 game. That doesn't count for this year. Okay. Suka Surprises, will I try Guilty Gear when it officially comes out? I don't actually know when it officially comes out. I'll put it this way. It's going to depend on price. It's going to depend on what else is going on at that time. I'm not against trying it as long as it's not very expensive. And also the fact that it's not going to cut into other things that people want to see more. You know? But the problem with fighting games is they can be very, very time consuming to learn the basics and learn advanced gameplay of each character. And I'm just not into Guilty Gear. I never have been into Guilty Gear. So for me, I'll be starting at a monstrous disadvantage to anyone who's played Guilty Gear over the years, because I really haven't. And then on top of that, you know, having to learn a new engine and everything, I don't know, man. So, Retro Jim Cheery says, you ever play A Hat in Time? It was one of the best platformers to come out in recent years. I have not. I've heard of it. I've never played it. Thank you for the cheer, Retro Jam. Yes, I will be getting Dying Light 2 whenever it finally comes out. Who knows when that is? It's supposed to come out like 2 years ago. It's still not out. Okay. Alright, guys. I think we're good. I think that's pre-stream. Let's end the pre-stream. Let's take the break like I usually do. And then we'll get ready here for some very fun Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War gameplay with a lot of Penne points wagering. Speaking of which, it is official. The pre-stream is ending right now. And the pre-stream is 1 hour, 34 minutes, and currently 35 seconds long. That means, yes, the pre-stream is going to end way under 2 hours. I have no idea why anyone wagered that the pre-stream would be longer than 2 hours. That's ridiculous. It's very rare that that would happen. So let's do it. Those who said, would it be shorter than 2 hours? The answer is yes. And there goes your reward. Hold on. There it is. Something went wrong. Please try again. What? It says something went wrong. Please try again. I have to try this again. What happened? Let me try it again. If it doesn't work, I'll try it through the chat. You know what it might be? They implemented this so it works on the dashboard, but it doesn't really work. Oh, wait, did it work? Oh, Ellipsian ended it before me. That's what happened. Okay. At least I thought it crashed. I was like, oh shit, that would really suck if the predictions aren't working today. All right. So it did. It did work. Okay. All right, guys. There you go. Enjoy your Penne points. Let's take the break. I'll be back with Call of Duty in just a few minutes. All right, guys. Thanks. And I'll see you after. Oops. That was a misclick. I'll see you after the break.